Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently weighed in on the ongoing rage on college campuses across the United States, saying that it's reminiscent of what was happening in the 1930s. Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Brian Lilley and Warren Kinsella. Netanyahu weighed in, Brian and Warren, because it's hard not to see what's going on. The rage on particularly Ivy League campuses, Columbia, Harvard, Yale, UCLA, USC, now in Texas. Warren, these scenes from these students who don't look like their family comes anywhere near the Middle East is disturbing. It is threatening. It's intimidating to Jewish students. And at Columbia, for example, they've said go online. They cannot secure the safety of Jewish students on campus. This is scary times.
It's like what we saw in our history books and in history reels with the Nazis. This has happened before, where Jewish students are being harassed and attacked and barred from campuses and barred from institutions. It's reached the point where we can say that. And, so why is this happening? Because if you look at your TV screen or your computer screen or what have you, and all of us have been doing that at our newspaper, you will see that the predominant demographic at these protests, at these rallies, at these extreme events are young people, predominantly white young people. And the polling shows some really scary results. And it's not just in Canada and the United States, it's in Europe as well. They doubt the Holocaust. They believe that Hamas was justified. They want to see Israel wiped off the map. And I'm not talking about 10% here, guys. I'm talking about like 40, 41% of Generation Z from the ages of 18 to 24. Talking about a third of millennials from the age of 25 to the age of 40. Like, our younger generation has embraced anti-Semitic tropes, hatred of Israel in a way that I think none of us expected. There's two main reasons why it's happened. The experts have told me, and I wrote about it in our paper yesterday. Number one, they see Israel, they see Jews as all-powerful and super wealthy. And so the powerful are taking vengeance on the weak, and in their view, Palestinians. And the the second reason why is they see Israel as this white supremacist state, right? And so you see a lot of allegations of racism made against Israel. The problem with that theory, of course, is that basically 70% of Israel, where you both recently were, is non-white. So all of this stuff is based on lies, but unfortunately, frighteningly, it's been a lie that has been swallowed whole hog by a lot of young people in Canada, the United States, and Europe.
Brian, the vitriol that is rising out of not only these college campuses, and I gotta say, the average tuition at Columbia University is around $50,000 US a year. If I was one of the parents of those kids, I'd be like, "What the hell are you doing? Get back to class. This is you're way off the mark here." But that doesn't seem to matter because now they've ostensibly occupied the campus. As Jewish students and families and kids are gone for Passover, these tents have risen all over Columbia University, which interestingly all match, Brian. They're very well coordinated. They all look the exact same, which makes you wonder where they're getting the money from and the resources to do all this. But this is spreading and it's coming to Canada, but it's already happening here in the sense of what we're hearing on the streets in the protests, like in Ottawa last week, them screaming, "Go back to Europe." This is, how are these people not being arrested for hate speech?
That is a question I can't answer. I know the Ottawa Police Service is investigating some of the chants that were going on last week at the very spot of the trucker protest, where if you had yelled out similar things, it would have been nonstop, leading the national news every night for a week. And as far as I can tell, the TV networks in this country did not cover in any great way, shape, or form. The people praising October 7th, chanting in front of the Langevin block, in front of Parliament Hill, long live October 7th. That is beyond shocking to me. I can tell you that local TV station, CTV Ottawa, did cover it, and they're now subject to a harassment campaign by a so-called group that claims they're for justice and peace, and their criticism is that they covered people saying these horrible things. You know what you're describing with the young people believing things that aren't true, believing lies. This is the end result of years of what we now call DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, being pushed into the school system, both at secondary and elementary school levels, but also especially at post-secondary. And DEI sounds great. Who's against diversity, equity, and inclusion? Let's treat everyone equally. That's what I was taught. Warren was taught by Jesuits. I know that he was taught, treat others as you want to be treated yourself. But this philosophy does not actually buy into that. Their vision of diversity, equity, and inclusion is that you have oppressors and the oppressed. And it is a hardcore Marxist philosophy that divides everyone into these two camps. And if you're an oppressor, doesn't matter what's done to you, it's justified. And if you're an oppressed person, whatever you do for your liberation is justified. And that's what we're hearing coming out of the campuses now. That's what we're hearing coming out of the marches here in Canada now. And, you know, most of these kids, they don't even know what they're talking about. We were sharing the clip of the two young women from NYU, and they're just asked a straight up question. What is it that you're protesting? And the woman starts to answer and then says, I don't actually know. Turns to her friend and says, what are we protesting? And she said, I don't know.
We just recently saw she used to be a great actress at one point, Susan Sarandon, Warren, but now, you know, a recent video has emerged of her even saying, well, we don't know about these rapes. We don't know about those kidnaps. We don't know if that, like, just questioning the denial of what actually happened on October 7th. And I think we've reached a level now that I have a very hard time understanding and appreciating if we can come back from this. And we've talked about the solutions. We've talked about, you know, exercising the laws on the books and trying to shut some of this down. But it's almost become fashionable now that to be part of this anti-Israeli movement. Last word to you, Warren.
Why are they denying these terrible events of October 7th? The torture and the rapes and the murders and the kidnappings. Why are they denying those things? They're doing that because they have to rehabilitate. They want to rehabilitate the reputation of Hamas and Hezbollah and these terror organizations. They're just like Jim Keegstra and Ernst Zundel and all these old Holocaust deniers that I interviewed over the years for a number of different books about the subject. In order to rehabilitate Hitler's reputation, they had to deny the Holocaust. The same thing is happening right now. From the earliest hours of October the 8th, they were denying that any atrocities had taken place. They were saying that the IDF did it to their own people. They were saying that it was exaggerated. It's the same MO, and it's the same approach. And their motive for doing so, because you've always got to figure out what the motive is in any crime, their motive for doing so is to rehabilitate the reputation of a murderous cult, which is Hamas, in order for Hamas to continue to spread its hatred and its violence and dominate not just in Gaza, but in Western democracy. That is the motive. That is what is happening. And these young people are dupes. They are useful idiots participating in this exercise. And as you say, it's something that should worry us all, something we need to devote ourselves to fixing.
Hey, parents, if this is one of your kids on this campus and you're paying their tuition, tell them to smarten up. Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and go to the torontosun.com. You will find commentary and coverage there you will not find anywhere else.